KJ taking this one in, and I just want to know what the reaction was inside that stadium when Stefan Eustaquio scored that goal and the final whistle went and it was confirmed they were moving on.
It was a great day, no doubt about it. Lots of Canadian fans who made their way here, and you could see the look on their eyes when the ball went in the back of the net of disbelief. And in many ways, it was always going to be disbelief as the word, because this was always going to be a game that was beyond many of our wildest dreams to even be here in the last 32 of a World Cup, and then to go out there and win a game like that. That is what this team needed, is to go out there, and that's what this sport needed, to go out there and win a game like that. 1-0 in added time, and to get that moment. That's why it was such a euphoric moment for the Canadian fans. You know, I watched the game thinking, this is the kind of game Canada usually loses. A game, and I thought as the South Africans got deeper and deeper, I thought of the voyageurs and the loyal fans who followed this team for decades and what they were thinking at 0-0 as the game got closer and closer to extra time, starting on the edge of their feet, so excited, and by the end of it, either behind their couch or just slumped in their seat going, can this be the same again? The same decisions not going our way, the same issues not going our way. A game that's been all too familiar for Canadian soccer down the years, and in the end, a game that had a different script and a different way of finishing it. Fittingly, because this team is supposed to be different, expectations were supposed to be different, and it was supposed to step out the shadows of history of the past and create their own history, and that's what they did today here in Los Angeles.
Well, the hero, of course, being Stefan Eustaquio, and we know that in 2022, when he got injured, came out, didn't play even in that final game, how the complexion of the team completely changed. When he didn't start last game, we thought, uh-oh, how significant is whatever kept him out of the lineup? Because when he also came into that game, KJ, changed the complexion of the game. It almost felt like it had to be Stefan Eustaquio in this case a little bit.
It had to be, you know. One of the South African media members said to me and said, pretty unlikely hero. And he talked about some of the other players. And I just thought, Eustaquio, the likely lad. I think he was a likely hero at the time because he is the heartbeat of the Canadian team. He is the reason why they start well. He is the reason why they don't play well when he's not playing. And he is the driver in that midfield to be able to do it. A player that has scored big goals for his club in the past. A player that delivers big when the lights are the brightest, a clutch player. And I thought about a lot of things for him when that ball went in the back of the net. And you know he's pretty measured and he won't want to make it about himself. So allow me to do it for a second. I texted his brother right away, Maro, who we know really well from the Canadian Premier League, and you can imagine how just emotional that message was back from him. A family that has given up so much for this game, a family and a set of brothers that lost their parents within 13 months. One, obviously, Esmeralda, their mom, from brain cancer. One, their dad, Armando, just 13 months later. Suddenly, and as Stefan Eustaquio said to me, he thought that his dad obviously was called by his mom when I sat down with both the brothers last year. That special family got that moment from a game that has given them so much, but has taken away a lot as well. And as I said, a likely hero who's given up so much for this team. And as the players told me afterwards, they couldn't have been happier for a guy that has given so much blood, sweat, and tears for Canada over the years.
And he's just an amazing person who sees the bigger picture as well in this country. Obviously, his brother Mauro being in the CPL, but he understands the significance and importance of that domestic league as well and what it means to the ecosystem of football in this country. What was the team reaction?
Well, it's great because, you know, obviously we go down there, we get to speak to the players after the game. Eustaquio was pretty measured as usual. Alistair Johnston was, as usual, very poetic with his words, called it a pinch me moment. You know, just thought that the moment when the ball went in at the back of the net, just said, you know, it was just a magic moment. You know, it just has a feeling of euphoria that you just don't get very often as well. And, you know, I spoke to some of the players afterwards and asked them exactly that. What was that like when you saw that ball hit the back of the net?
I had the perfect angle. I think I was right there. As soon as I left his foot, I could kind of see what was going in. It was just, I can't even describe it. I didn't remember. I was just running after him. I don't know where he was going at the start. Yeah, it was probably the best feeling of my life, to be honest with you. It was amazing, and yeah, what a day, what a day.
That was a similar feeling to how we felt during Copa, and for it to be Stax as well, who You know, he's a heartbeat of this team. You know, he works so hard on the field. He's one of our leaders off the field. So for it to be him who gets that goal, honestly, I think we're all just ecstatic. We're all elated. For it to go in like that, man, that's why we play this game.
You know, Steph played an amazing game, and I think he deserved that moment. So couldn't be happier for Steph. Honestly, he deserved it. But I think for the whole team and the whole country, this is like Jesse said after the game, it's a monumental moment for the whole country. You know, it can change the perspective of our country forever. So amazing moment, amazing feeling. I'm really happy that we're through the next round.
I think it's relief. It was a tough game, you know, back and forth game with a lot of intensity, a lot of pace, and to be able to see the ball go in the back of the net and celebrate with the team was something truly amazing. It meant a lot, you know. The first 3 games, you know, I was on the sidelines, itching to get on the pitch and to be able to have, you know, these 15 minutes that I could get to, you know, be there on the pitch and celebrate with the guys is truly amazing. I felt great. I felt like, you know, it takes time, you know, building my confidence and getting back to it, but definitely felt good.
We heard from Alphonso Davies there, who spoke to me afterwards, and, you know, I'll never forget the grin on his face when he ran away and celebrated with his team, because he was on the pitch. This is a player that obviously had a lot of his career derailed at the stadium behind me, who said yesterday, I get to finish that story here at SoFi Stadium. Almost got the exact same minutes that he played just from the start in that Nations League game 15 months ago. And for it to come full circle for him to be on the pitch this time with his teammates and no longer not be on the pitch and get that moment, I thought that was really special for a captain that has been told obviously he couldn't play in the group stages of a home World Cup, didn't get to step on Canadian soil, and then gets to be on the field for that moment, a moment that we'll forever remember, and Alphonso Davies will forever be in that celebration pose as well.
So what would you say this win means?
Well, what does it mean? I mean, it's emotional for me talking about it, because this is the moment that the sport in this country needed. It's one of the greatest Canadian sports moments ever. And it's soccer. This was a fringe sport for so long. Those of us who have been blessed enough to talk about it, to work on it, we put the work in, but it's about the players. It's never about me. It's not about you. It's about the players. And it's about the fans and the money that they spend and the players and the hard work that they put on. I want to say this about this group, first of all. They are a real group of really likable, authentic individuals that are worth rooting for, and that is important. These are players that kids are going to read about and going to look at and going to look at these images for years to come, and they're likely heroes, and they're right to be heroes. It's a strong term, heroes. They deserve it because they are a good group of people. In a country where it's been difficult to find that group of people to come together and be for one for a long time. This is a fractured sport in our country in a lot of areas. There's a lot of people working hard for it, but it's a difficult sport in this country to get the investment, to get the coverage, to get the quality of the high performance in every level. And this group needed to be the ones that could push that forward. So when you ask what does it mean, well, today, on the last day of June, I think about the last day of June last year when it all went wrong. But now you think about what does this mean today? It's all anybody who likes sport in country of Canada is going to be thinking about. It's all that anybody who watched the World Cup today thought about. And when you ask again, what does it mean? We're going to be seeing what it means for decades and decades to come. That's what it means. No matter what happens now, Canada had their moment in a World Cup. Qatar wasn't a moment because of Kone and what happened to Ismail. It was dampened by that. Yes, it was a great win, but this was the moment. A 90th minute winner in a World Cup knockout game, their first knockout game. Doesn't get much better than that, guys.